I think we're heading for a global depression. We have, as a world, have never been here before. And so is it a spooky time? Damn yeah. It is probably the most dangerous time ever. There's nothing to compare it to because there's never been a world economy before. For example, 100 years ago, if there was a stock market crash in England, it didn't affect anybody. But now the US market goes down, the world goes down. So we've never been here before. We're heading for a global depression.
Global depression?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Depression. I mean, people are depressed. The economy stays down. It's hard to come back up. And now the good news is that for those who are prepared for it, like you and things like this, you'll do better. And not everybody dies in a plane crash. Some plane crashes. But the last crash in 2008, I was on Wolf Blitzer's program 6 months before Lehman Brothers went down. And I said Lehman was going down. Nobody listened. But it went down. And so I've been expecting this market to go down for quite a while. And I'm concerned about my fellow human beings. But as you know, most Americans are clueless. They don't know what's going on. But if you travel the world, I just got back from Africa and China and Japan and New Zealand. People are scared. Australia, which hasn't had a recession in 30 years, is in recession. But Americans are fat, dumb, and happy, having a good time, which is good. I'm concerned. That's all I can say. I'd be afraid if I had kids. I think as an adult, you can go hungry, but you don't want to see your kids go hungry. Never in the history of the world has any fake money ever survived. And we're doing the same thing. We just keep printing this money. When I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad almost 25 years ago, people said I didn't know what I was talking about. I said savers would be losers. Now, today, there's quantitative easing, which is counterfeiting money. And then you have zero interest rates. And people are still saving money. You're nuts. They just printed, I think, $500 billion in September of this year because the repo market is going down. And the average guy goes, well, what's the repo market? They don't know. So that's why it's fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. Our education system, it has been my rant forever. Why don't we teach people about money? Why is it? We all use money, but we don't teach people about it. So that's why I'm concerned. And I wrote this book, Who Stole My Pension? It's already sold out. But I wrote Who Stole My Pension because I just come back from Vietnam in '73. My dad was unemployed, Poor Dad was unemployed. And he tells me to go fly for the effing airlines. I said, are you kidding me? And he says, go back to school, get your master's and get your PhD. I said, are you kidding me? Here the guy is unemployed. He's got no pension. He's got no paycheck. And he's telling me to go back to school. I said, what, learn nothing? And those guys who, my friends who flew for United Airlines, they're broke today. Their pensions were stolen. US Air, same thing. Look at what's going on in Paris today as we talk. They're rioting. Millions of people are rioting because of pensions. Japan, they're rioting because of pension. And Americans, I wonder how my 401k is doing. I'm going, gee, I'd be a little bit worried, but they don't know. Americans live in a fishbowl. Everybody sees in, but Americans can't see out. So I travel the world constantly, and what I see going on in the world is disturbing. I was just in Argentina, and I took my kid brother there. He came back a changed man. He says, you weren't kidding, were you? I said, no, I wasn't. My brother could not believe that what happened in Argentina is going to happen here. Most people remember 2008. You know what I mean? That's when Lehman went down, Bear Stearns went down.
38% drop.
Yeah, they all remember it. But when I started Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the only thing they had was the depression. And none of the people I talked to remember the depression. The fear today, I think people are a little bit wiser because they do remember 2008. And they do remember 2000, 2008. And here we are today. So I think most people are at least kind of tuned in. I hope it doesn't come down, but I'm afraid it will. That's what I have to say. The best time to start a business is right after a crash. I made more money after 2008 than ever in my whole entire life because everybody was hiding like little cockroaches. Here I'm talking about the coming depression. Everybody says, oh, you're such a pessimist, I'm going, no, I'm excited. All the bargains that are going to be on the street, it's going to be bargains everywhere. But everybody else, oh, you're pessimistic. No, I'm actually optimistic. So anyway, so you're very smart to, when I study business. Guys who start right after a crash do very well most of the time. This book, Who Stole My Pension? I write about what is America's #1 export, toxic assets.
Toxic assets.
CDOs, MBSs,
yes.
Derivatives. And so what is it today? Wall Street just looted the pensions. So this book, Who Stole My Pension, it's like I said, my co-author is an SEC attorney. And he got sick and tired of seeing all these bankers loot the pensions and get paid bonuses. And then the labor union guys who manage the funds get paid bonuses. And the guys who manage it get paid bonus. Meanwhile, the workers get screwed. So when this next crash comes, it's going to be horrible. I'm not a Republican or Democrat. I like Trump, but they can't save me. Trump, Biden, Sanders. It's a cast of characters, right? You got the Donald on one side, and then you got Comrade Sanders, Commie. Then you got Pocahontas, and then you got Alfred E. Newman, Buttigieg. It's a reality TV show up there. You're counting on the government to take care of you? Wait up. You want to make sure that no matter who's in office or if it crashes, you're okay. That's the most important thing you can do.
You don't pivot based on presidents.
No, I'm not a stock guy, that's why.
Okay.
So I'm a real estate guy.
So for you,
I own businesses. So the Rich Dad Company does better in a crash. And apartment houses, they always do well because people have to have someplace to live. And I own oil wells because people are always burning oil. So I always protect my assets that they're crash proof.
The average person's watching this right now saying, okay, Robert, I'm not like you. I don't run a company. I don't have a brand. I haven't sold 41 million copies. I don't have oil. I don't have rental properties. What can I do? I'm in a time like this. You're telling me the market's going to go in shambles here pretty soon because of currency. And we printed $500 billion of money in September just in 1 month, not including the $3 trillion we printed in the last 7 years prior to that. What do I do to be prepared for a time like this?
First of all, everybody can do something, but they won't. And that's the problem. In 1972, it was illegal for Americans to own gold. I had to smuggle that little puppy into America. I put it in my pocket, came off the ship, and nobody checked, But I felt like a criminal as I smuggled this gold coin because it was illegal for Americans to own gold after 1933 under Roosevelt. But that gold coin today is worth almost $2,000.
The one gold coin.
Yeah, and I still have it.
What'd you pay for it?
$50.
$50 to $2,000. 1972?
Yeah, it just sat there. Because I understand money, that, quantitative counterfeiting and zero interest rates, I don't trust the dollar. So for most of my life, I've saved gold and silver and not ETFs. I stay completely out of, I know that's your world, but my world is completely into the hard assets. So I have millions in gold coins and silver coins. I just kept saving it because I don't trust the dollar. So everybody can buy a silver coin today for $20. A silver eagle is $20. But how many people will go to a coin shop and buy it? Probably none. Less than 0.1% of Americans own precious metals. And silver today is 50% below its all-time high. So silver is the biggest bargain sitting in the market as we speak today. It's about $20. It should go to 50. So at $20, and I tell my friends, I go, yeah, think about it. And that's the problem. So everybody can afford $20. Kids can afford $20. The thing is, people won't do it. And you know that too, when you deal with people. Most people are pretty sedentary. They want to do the same old thing. Well, I'm happy, nothing's going to happen. Oh, he's just trying to scare me. But I was talking to my doctor last night, he says, you've been saying this stuff for 25 years. I never listened to you. He says, now what do I do? Because his 401k, as we cover in this book here, the average firefighter has about 1.2 million in pension. There's nothing there.
What do you mean?
Their payout's going to be 1.2 million. The average
firefighter retiree has a $1.2 million pension payout.
Yeah, that's how much they'll get paid out. Okay. But there's nothing there as a problem.
Meaning what? Meaning they don't have the money to pay the benefits?
It was stolen. It was stolen by Wall Street.
So how is that going to be fulfilled?
We wrote this book.
How is that going to be fulfilled? I know one of the stats you said by 2050, 2 billion retirees will be above the age of 60. What was the stat you said about?
Okay, today is 2030. 2 billion baby boomers across the world will retire. Japan's broke. Argentina's broke. China's broke. Italy's broke. Germany's broke. All these old guys are retiring. And I live in a fairly exclusive place in South Carolina. And I was talking to my friends there, and they said, oh, we love Trump, we love Trump. Stock market's at all-time high. And I said, yeah, but so is our debt all-time high. See, they watch the stock market, they don't watch the debt. And the repo market, the repurchase market, is one of the biggest markets in the world. And the Fed is bailing that one out now. So the average American's watching the stock market, but not what's really going on. So that's why I wrote Who Stole My Pension? So that means retirees, their kids, taxpayers will pay for the heist.
So one is, you said buy coins, whether it's silver or it's gold.
But you don't buy gold coins to make money. You buy gold coins because the dollar is going to go down. So I don't trust the dollar.
I remember when Buffett says, I'm buying $35 million of silver. I don't know if you remember that when he bought it. You're like, okay, be prepared because something's about to happen.
Yep.
Right? If he buys gold, just be ready in the next 6, 12, 24 months. He's anticipating some kind of a crash to be taking place. He's right now in cash because
that's smart.
Yeah, he's anticipating something to happen to buy up businesses and rebuild them. He does that all the time.
And then he's going to go in after the crash.
He's going to go after the crash.
Now, the tragedy is, so you have this defined benefits, which are police officers, firefighters, and school teachers and union guys. Like the UPS drivers, they were getting a $5,000 a month pension. They gave my haircut down to $850 a month.
From $5,000?
Screwed them all.
Now this is every one of them, Robert, when you're saying this? From $5,000 to $850?
Yep.
How can they do that?
Well, look at my friends who are airline pilots, lost everything. They stole the pensions. Nobody talks about it. U.S. Air, they stole the pensions. The Teamsters, they got stolen by Wall Street. And nobody knows about it.
Are they not insured?
DBGC, right? Pension Benefit Guarantee. They're broke. The defined benefit, which is the DB pension plan, teachers, firefighters, school teachers. I don't have one. You probably don't have one.
No.
That was the industrial age pension plan, my father's pension plan. The PBGC was to back it up. Today, as we talk, if they had to bail out the defined benefit pension, it's anywhere from $9 trillion to $17 trillion shortfall. Look at CalPERS, California State Pension, $1 trillion on CalPERS alone. And then now you got the 401k guy. The average 401k guy, at least a school teacher has $1 million too. Average 401k guy has 65,000.
By retirement. The average 401k guy has 65,000 by retirement.
And so when they, what the actuarials do, you know those guys, right? Guys that put the numbers together, they lump in the guy with 1% in with the guy that got nothing. And it comes out, every American's a millionaire because the upper 1%, they're so bloody rich.
Of course.
They lift everybody else up.
If they take the top 5% out, those numbers will be a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. You add those billionaires in there, shows the numbers to be much better.
Yeah, it looks really good when you average it, but when you look at the case by case. So the average 401k guy is 65,000 to 100k when they retire. That's just America. So remember, Paris is rioting right now because they're trying to cut their pensions. Japan's rioting, Hong Kong rioting, Argentina, Indonesia. The old guys like me are going to suck the system dry. So if anything's going to bring down the market, it's going to be pensions. Because I wish I could get younger, but I can't. So these guys are getting older and older. Every day that goes by, we get closer to the edge. And they're like lemmings, So that's why my medical doctor says, I should have listened to you 10 years ago. So, well, still got time.
So one is some kind of a precious metal is one. Two,
for money.
For money as a form of investment, long term.
No, it's not even an investment. It's an insurance policy because the dollar is going to go down.
So you buy it and you resell it, or you buy it or you keep it?
Just keep it.
Okay, so long term, you buy it and you keep it and you set it aside.
I never sell.
Okay, so you buy it and you keep it. Okay, so that's one. So what else can I do today? If I know these bad times are coming, I'm a regular guy, what else do I do to position myself better?
Well, what a person does is what they can do. And since the average person has no financial education, they can't do much. So I can short the market. I'll make more money as the short's coming down. So I'm looking forward to it. But the average pensioner, they're handcuffed. They can't get out. If they take the money out, they're penalized 30%. They screwed them. They screwed everybody. That's Wall Street, the government, and all these guys.
So what can I do? I'm one of them. What do I do? Does it go back to employee, self-employed, business owner, investor? Like go find a business, go start a business, go reposition yourself career-wise?